Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley. This is a Mountain News special report. As many of you have probably heard by now, a police officer in Pikeville was shot to death late last night. In Pikeville, we have the procession is coming through US 23 right now. This is a live picture from near the state police post in Pikeville of the procession bringing the body of Officer Scotty Hamilton with the Pikeville Police Department back home. He was taken to Frankfort for an autopsy earlier today. This shooting happened very late last night, and the body was taken for an autopsy, and it's going to come back through Pikeville. We understand the procession has not gone through yet. We expect that momentarily. There is a picture of Scotty Hamilton, a young man. I'm not sure of his age, a fairly young man. He was married and had a very young daughter, I believe less than 1 year old, 9 months old. I understand. The city of Pikeville is in mourning today. You can feel it just by looking at social media posts. This officer was well known and from all indications beloved in the community, and this has really been a punch to the gut to the community of Pikeville. Now, as far as the investigation goes, the alleged shooter is still on the run. As far as we know, no arrests have been made directly related to the murder. We understand some arrests were made at the scene unrelated, and there was some confusion earlier that a suspect may be in custody. At last check, a suspect is not in custody directly related to the shooting of Officer Scotty Hamilton, and police are urging you to contact them. Kentucky State Police Post 9 in Pikeville at 606-433-7711, or the Pikeville Police Department at 606-437-5111 if you have any information. We understand an active search going on. They were using drones. We understand earlier in this search for this person who killed Officer Scotty Hamilton. We understand Hamilton has been a member of the Pikeville Police Department since 2006. This happened. Okay. I'm being told in my ear we're still waiting for the procession. I don't know if we can go back to the live picture. We understand the procession will go down US 23 back near the Pikeville Police Department. And was it J.W. Call Funeral Home, Kyle, that the body will be taken to? I believe I was told that a few minutes ago. Obviously, way too early to talk about funeral arrangements. As of yet, we've heard talk that the East Kentucky Expo Center may be used. That's nothing is definite as of yet. In a related matter, the East Kentucky Sport Boat and RV Show, which was scheduled to begin Friday at the East Kentucky Expo Center, has been postponed. Because of this tragedy, it has been postponed until next weekend at the East Kentucky Expo Center. So again, if you're just joining us, we are hoping to see the procession carrying the body of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton back through Pikeville, back through his town that he served since 2006. We had interviewed him a couple of times several years ago. We showed you that earlier this morning on Mountain News this morning of some past interviews we had done with Officer Hamilton. And again, going back to the investigation, officials say the suspect accused of killing him is still on the run, and you should call State Police or the Pikeville Police Department if you know any information. Troopers tell us they did arrest 4 people at the scene on unrelated charges, and this happened not directly in Pikeville. It was in the Hurricane Creek area, we understand, which is just outside the city limits of Pikeville. Again, Officer Hamilton leaves behind a wife and a baby girl. Just a terribly sad situation. unfolding today in Pikeville. So can we go back to the live picture of US 23 if we can? And again, we're waiting. This is off US 23 near the Pikeville State Police Post. As you can see, it's a very dreary day. We had some snow earlier. Looks like most of that snow has melted, if it accumulated at all in that area. It's very sporadic. Several people reported 2 to 4 inches in some counties down in the Cumberland Valley this morning. It doesn't look like that much fell in the Pikeville area unless it has just already melted. I do see, is that some flashing lights way off in the distance? So this may be the procession coming down. Let's just pause and listen.
We have more fire trucks coming in to help do traffic control. I'll take this off here and I'll show you back here. You can see inside more trucks, more fire trucks here on US. They've got more fire trucks.
Again, it looks like that officer is stationary there, probably for traffic control. I still do not see the actual procession yet. If you're just joining us late, we are waiting for the procession to go by. Our cameras there off US 23 in Pikeville. The procession carrying the body of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton, who was shot to death last night in the line of duty while working near Pikeville in the Hurricane Creek area. Kentucky State Police now in charge of this investigation. We have not heard anything from officials since early this morning when Pikeville Mayor Jimmy Carter came out and just released a very short statement. We've been expecting some sort of news conference to be held at some point today. That still has not happened by state police, and we hope to learn a lot more later today about what led up to this shooting and the circumstances. There's still a lot of questions that have not been answered about what exactly happened last night that led to this officer's death. Again, no arrests have been made, which is a disturbing part of this story right now, is that the person who killed this officer is still on the run somewhere. I'm being told that several people have lined up along the streets in downtown waiting for this procession to come through. We understand the body will be taken to J.W. Call Funeral Home. We also have a camera set up in downtown Pikeville, so hopefully we can show you once the procession gets through US 23. We hope to show you again the procession moving through downtown Pikeville. We also understand 2 ladder trucks are set up in downtown Pikeville with the American flag hanging between them that the hearse will pass under in downtown Pikeville. Earlier today, when the body was being taken to Frankfort, there was a tribute in Prestonsburg, still dark outside, that had a similar scene with the flag hanging down from ladder trucks. We shared that video on our Facebook page earlier Very solemn scene. And as I said earlier, you can just feel, even here in Hazard, you can feel the punch to the gut today for folks in Pikeville. Obviously, we know a lot of people that live and work in Pikeville, and many of them I've been noticing comments all day long on Facebook talking about this officer and what a good person he is, and just the shock and disbelief that this even happened in the first place. You know, we've had line of duty deaths several times in recent history, not as many shooting deaths. We've had several traffic accident deaths involving police officers, including one that I can think of off the top of my head. There was one in Pike County a few years ago. Actually, two I can think of, one involving a state trooper and another involving a sheriff's deputy. We were looking at past history of shooting deaths involving Kentucky police officers. The most recent one near our area was in Richmond, Officer Ellis. Before that, several years ago, I think about 10 years ago, Clay City police chief was killed in the line of duty. And of course, many people will remember Pulaski County Sheriff Sam Catron, who was gunned down, assassinated while he was running for re-election. That happened back 17, 18 years ago. Many people will remember Sheriff Sam Catron's assassination. But certainly this is not something that happens often in eastern Kentucky, and it's just hit a lot of people very hard today. Again, there is a picture of Officer Scotty Hamilton, who was shot and killed in the line of duty late last night near Pikeville. He's been a member of the Pikeville Police Department since 2006. I believe he's a graduate of Shelby Valley High School in Pike County. Again, we are awaiting the police escort to bring his body back to Pikeville. I believe I may see it now. I see a lot of blue lights flashing now off in the distance. So this may be the escort coming down US 23. Let's pause now and pay our respects to this brave officer.
But you can see a glance back there, the lights coming through here. They are coming down. You're right now. Lights to see.
And there you have the somber scene in Pikeville off US 23 of the procession moving toward the city of Pikeville. We do have a camera, I believe, set up in downtown Pikeville, and we're going to try to stay on the air until the procession moves through downtown Pikeville. We understand the body is being taken to J.W. Call Funeral Home. Of course, still too early to know the arrangements for Officer Hamilton. Not clear when those will be made. We understand the Expo Center is available if the family chooses to use the Expo Center for services, but again, nothing is finalized as far as we know, and we don't know when those arrangements will be made. We can tell you that the East Kentucky Sport Boat and RV Show that was scheduled for this weekend at the Expo Center has been moved to next weekend. And there you see the picture again of Officer Scotty Hamilton. And again, we want to reiterate that unless something has changed in the last few moments, no arrests have been made in connection with his murder. Some arrests were made at the scene unrelated to his death, but as far as we know, there was some confusion earlier that a suspect may be in custody, but at last check, no suspect is in custody that is directly related to the murder of Scotty Hamilton. Okay, and I've been told too that we are expecting a news conference shortly too, and we hope to carry that live. Now you see a live picture from downtown Pikeville where a crowd has gathered. You can actually see the funeral home, J.W. Call funeral home there off in the distance. And you can see the ladder truck with the American flag flying below it. The police department is also in that area if you're familiar with downtown Pikeville, but that procession should be making its way through there just momentarily. We just saw it move through US 23 near the state police post. So something Pikeville yeah, I tell you, it's probably going to be another minute or two before the procession moves through downtown. If we may take a break here in just a moment. You can see a very cold, cloudy day in downtown Pikeville with a few snow flurries still flying. Again, this happened well after dark last night. I believe it was before midnight, but it was very late. We learned about it in the very early morning hours about this tragedy, and we heard from Mayor Jimmy Carter. I think it was about 3 a.m. when he came out to confirm the news about the officer's death. We have a frozen picture there. Let's take a quick break, and we'll see if we can get our camera straightened out, and hopefully we'll be able to show you the procession through downtown Pikeville. Take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back to our special live coverage of the procession of police officer Scotty Hamilton with the Pikeville Police Department. His body is now back in Pikeville. Just moments ago, if you were with us, you saw the procession move down US 23, now getting ready to move into the downtown area of Pikeville. We did have a live camera set up in downtown, and we're trying to get that shot back. There is a picture of the police officer, Scotty Hamilton, who was shot and killed overnight in the line of duty. He had been with the Pikeville Police Department since 2006. And again, the latest on the investigation is we do not know a lot. All we can tell you is that Officer Hamilton was in the Hurricane Creek area. Shots rang out, and he was found dead. His body was taken to Frankfort early this morning and is now being escorted back. We've learned very little about what led to this incident, if they were responding to some type of call, if, you know, just what exactly was going on, if officers returned fire. We just simply do not know. All we can tell you is that a suspect in the officer's murder is not in custody as at last check. We do expect a news conference shortly, and hopefully we'll learn a lot more about what transpired overnight in Pikeville that led to the death of this officer in the line of duty. He leaves behind a wife and a very young child. It's a very sad situation just all the way around today in Pikeville. And this is touching folks across eastern Kentucky. I've seen condolences go up not only from police departments across our region, but from just regular folks expressing their condolences from one end of our coverage area to the other. I was told a short time ago that McDonald's here on the bypass in Hazard put up on their marquee a tribute to Officer Scotty Hamilton. So just a very somber mood across eastern Kentucky, not just in Pikeville, because of this tragedy that happened overnight. And again, we're awaiting, hopefully we'll get the live coverage back from downtown Pikeville to see the procession through that area. Again, if you're just joining us, you're looking at a picture of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton, who was shot and killed in the line of duty overnight near Pikeville. The shooter still on the loose. If you have any information, you should contact the Kentucky State Police Post 9 in Pikeville at 606-433-7711 or the Pikeville Police Department at 606-437-5111. If you were with us moments ago, you saw the procession going down US 23 heading toward downtown Pikeville. We understand the body will be taken to J.W. Call Funeral Home downtown, which is very close to the Pikeville Police Department. It was at the Pikeville Police Department early this morning when Pikeville Mayor Jimmy Carter confirmed the terrible news that we had been hearing, that this officer had died. Let's go now live to the procession through downtown Pikeville. Let's pause and listen. As the snow picks up a little bit in downtown Pikeville, an eerie quiet as the body of Officer Scotty Hamilton returns home. Fairly long procession filled with police cruisers, fire trucks. And you can see quite a few people have gathered, standing silently to honor Officer Hamilton. I saw a few people with cell phones documenting the moment. But everybody very reverent, standing still. So that is the somber scene right now in Pikeville as the body of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton returns home after he was murdered, shot and killed in the line of duty overnight. Again, we are standing by for a possible news conference with state police to hopefully find out a lot more about what led to this shooting overnight, and we hope to carry that live when it happens. We're not sure exactly about a time yet. We've been told it should happen shortly, so we hope to be back on the air when that news conference happens. For now, though, we are going to return you to regular programming, but stay with WYMT and WYMT.com throughout the day for full comprehensive coverage of the death of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton. For now, I'm Steve Hensley. We'll see you again soon.